my friends, welcome one more time to FHP Books. I am Felix, and on my website fhpbooks.com you can find my film reviews that I publish there, and also the links to my books that are on Amazon. My books, most of them are compilations of my film reviews. Today I'm going to talk about 3 great movies of the polizziesco genre. The polizziesco genre is the Italian kind of noir, of crime thriller with cops and gangsters, and it was very popular in Italy in the 70s. One of the most important directors of this kind of films was Fernando Di Leo. Fernando Di Leo started as a scriptwriter, working together with Sergio Leone in some of his Italo westerns, and afterwards he started developing his own filmmaking, his own style, and he's particularly well known for his polizziesco films, for his noir crime thrillers that inspired afterwards some international directors like Quentin Tarantino. And Fernando Di Leo was the director of a trilogy that includes Milano Calibro 9 or Milan Caliber 9, La Mala Ordina or Manhunt in Milan, and Il Boss, The Boss. These 3 great movies are part of this trilogy, and they have different plots, they have different plot lines, so you don't need to watch them in chronological order. And there are some actors that participate in 2 of these films, but in different roles. In the first part, the first of these movies is Milano Calibro 9, and in this movie, actor Gastone Moschin stars as the protagonist. He had also a role in The Godfather 2, in the second part of The Godfather, playing Don Fanucci, that was a mafia boss, an old mafia boss, so-called mustache beat, as they are called, these old mafia bosses of the 20s and so on. And he plays one of these old mafia bosses in Little Italy when Vito Corleone was young. In the second part, he is played by Robert De Niro, and there is this great scene where there is some festival taking place, some procession in the streets of Little Italy, and Robert De Niro walks through the roofs in Little Italy looking to kill this guy, this Don Fanucci, this old mafia boss, and so take over his family or his gang and so on. And this we see in The Godfather Part 2 from 1974, and 2 years earlier, this guy who plays Don Fanucci, Gastone Moschin, stars in Milano Calibro 9 as Ugo Piazza. Ugo Piazza is the name of this protagonist in this movie, in Milano Calibro 9. And in this film, Ugo Piazza is a gangster that is hiding and is trying to, he has some problems, some rivalries and some conflicts with other gangsters and so on. And one of the other gangsters is played by Mario Adorf. He is a great actor of half Italian, half German. He is very popular in Germany, and he plays the other gangster who has this conflict with Ugo Piazza, with Gastone Moschin. And we also have Barbara Boucher, who was also a very popular actress in this kind of movies of the 70s, these polizziesco films, also some giallo movies and so on. This is Milano Calibro 9, Milan Caliber 9, by Fernando Di Leo. Then the second part is Manhunt in Milan, that is known in Italy as La Mala Ordina, and in this second part of this trilogy, in this movie, we also have Mario Adorf, but in this case, Mario Adorf plays a different role. He has a different role. He's also a gangster, but he is a different character. He is not the same character as in the same part, and the story, the plot is different. And in this case, he is followed. He is hiding from two gangsters that came from the United States to eliminate him. And these two gangsters, one is black, the other is white, and these characters, one of them is played by the white one is played by Henry Silva, a great Puerto Rican actor that also had a lot of roles in Italian movies from the time. And the black guy is Woody Strode. In Pulp Fiction, we also have this couple of gangsters, this couple of killers, one black, one white, and the white one is John Travolta, the black one is Samuel L. Jackson. There are a lot of similarities, there are a lot of parallelisms between Manhunt in Milan and Pulp Fiction, because also Tarantino was a great fan of Fernando Di Leo. And then the third part of this trilogy is Il Boss. Il Boss is a movie where we also have Henry Silva, great Puerto Rican actor Henry Silva, that plays the protagonist, and he is also a gangster, but he is another character. He's not the same character as in the movie before, as in Manhunt in Milan, because as I told you, the plot lines, the stories are different, even if this is considered a trilogy. But it's considered a trilogy because the three movies were made more or less in the same time. One or two of these movies, they have the same actors, the same kind of story, but the plots are different. The plots are not interconnected. So in this third part, Il Boss, it plays mostly in Sicily. The other two movies, Milano Calibro 9 and Manhunt in Milan, played in Milan, in Milano, but this third part plays in Sicily, and it's more about the mafia. And we have in this movie we will see some rivalries and some conflicts, some problems between some mafia families, and also there is the police involved, and Henry Silva is the protagonist. And in this movie we have also a great Italian-American actor named Richard Conte, who plays a mafia boss named Don Corrasco. And this guy is the boss of bosses of the mafia in Sicily in this movie. And Richard Conte, actually, he played also in The Godfather. He had also a role in The Godfather, but in the first part. The actor that I mentioned before, Gastone Moschin, played Don Fanucci in the second part of The Godfather, and Richard Conte plays Don Barzini, Don Emilio Barzini, in the first part of The Godfather. He is also a rival of Don Vito Corleone, but when Vito Corleone is older, when he is played by Marlon Brando. And Richard Conte plays here Don Corrasco, that is the boss of bosses of Sicily in this film. So this is the Trilogia del Milieu or Trilogia della Mala. This is considered a trilogy made by Fernando Di Leo, great polizziesco director who also started as scriptwriter together with Sergio Leone. So now I made an introduction of these three great movies, and if you want to know more about them, you can take a look at my blog fhpbooks.com, where I have published, or I am publishing now. When you see this video, the film critics might already be on my blog, and then you can find my film critics, you can read them, and I try not to make many important spoilers, so if you haven't watched the movies, you still will have the motivation to watch the movies. And by the way, these 3 film critiques that I am now publishing on my blog are also included in my book about Mafia movies, on my guides about Mafia films that you can find on Amazon. So thank you very much for your attention and see you in the next time. Bye!